So I figured I would share with you guys some plans that I have for this courtyard, even though it's nowhere near in the plans for it. It's just such a beautiful day, and I probably will try to do some yard work. It's honestly so peaceful and it's so much space. Let me share with you guys. So we have an outer building here, 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 as well as right connecting to the house. On the other side of the kitchen is that outer building. It's just honestly so much land and so much property. And I actually have a piece of plot of land that is outside of the closure. It's a stone closure that I have. So I have the privacy. It's just everything I could ever imagine. Well, there's still so much to do. This courtyard included, the house included, everything. I have all these ideas, and I figured I'd walk you guys through the different land and sharing with you guys the projects that I want to do. Nothing is solidified to get started anytime soon. It really just depends. I mean, so much can change in a year. I literally have such a growth mindset, and I just know the possibilities are truly endless, but I'm also trying to diversify my portfolio. And while I love this house, I do plan on continuing to invest in it and do renovations like this beautiful courtyard. I do also want to buy another property to help break up the equity a little bit. Here she is, my beautiful courtyard. Anytime I'm feeling overly stimulated or overwhelmed, I just feel so grateful that I can just come here and even just sit in my courtyard, sit in the patio over here, and just be able to breathe fresh air. That was one thing that I realized when I had moved to Aix-en-Provence, because I was there a good portion of my time. I realized I just wanted to go outside, and because I was in the city center, I would step foot outside. I had no balcony, no terrace, no anything, and I would instantly feel really stimulated. It was just so much for me. Well, as here, I'm able to go outside in moments where I feel a little bit overwhelmed and I hear nothing. I don't hear cars, I hear birds, and that's it. And it's where this house is situated, it's actually an impasse, so it does not, anybody who comes here, it's my 3 neighbors who live behind me or the mail delivery. So it's not like it's a high traffic street. But actually, let me get the key and I'm going to show you this plot of land that is outside my property that I plan on when I fully enter my Martha Stewart era. This is what I imagine for this space. Why is it locked? Why did I lock it? Doesn't make any sense. Carotte. Hi, Carotte. Come here. Come here, Carroty. Let's say hi to the camera. It's a pretty rare sight that I'm able to capture Carrot. He just loves to play chase, even though with my builder who built my kitchen, he loved the builder. He would come up to him, let him pet him, but not me, his mama. This is my bunny. His name is Carrot. He loves carrots. We call him Carote for short. Oh my god, what's in your eye? Eye. What's on your eye? You have a boogie. He has an eye booger. Isn't he so cute? Anyways, he used to live in the backyard, but I had another bunny, and unfortunately he got unalived, I think by a fox. I don't know how that even happened. So now he lives in the courtyard, but he roams in the middle building. I don't know what he eats, but look how cute he is. He's just so cute. I let him run free. Go run free. Gonna have to brush him. So anyways, this is the key. It's super authentic. Oh my god, look, it has all the hair on it. Okay, so right outside the gates, there's this little plot of land here. When I purchased the property, there was two large cypress trees, I think they were called, and they were completely dead. And they also chopped them completely straight because they were touching the cables. So literally for 3 years, I think almost 2.5 years, almost 3 years, they were just dead and ugly. And so finally I had those removed. But now I'm like, I have this, and you can't really tell because it's overgrown, but there's rocks to align it. And then I also want to redo all of this because it's totally overgrown. The cement and everything, all this is my property up until the road, so I will have to do this. And then this is my mailbox. Could you guys see that? This is the mailbox. I lost the key, so I've lost it twice. So I plan on removing that, and I want the mailbox to be on the back end of the property because there's another gate that leads to the backyard. And you see how this stone is dark? I want to, and it's not looking that pretty. I want to redo the stone and make it look pretty. And I think I want to put a house plaque here. I think there might have been one before because there is a little hook there. I don't know if you guys were able to see that, but right here, there looks like there could have been like some kind of plaque. So I want to put a plaque there and just make this look nice. But let me show you the plot of land. So all this is this gravel that they decided to install instead of relaying fresh pavement. They installed gravel, which I don't have a car, guys. I just have a bike. And this is a hill. I don't know if you can tell it's a hill. So it does get a little bit slippery, even for trucks. They're sliding because they have space actually, thank goodness, to come here and deliver. But just to give you some context, you guys are at near my mailbox, not completely touching it, but near my mailbox. Then we're going to go all the way over here. I hope you guys can still see me and hear me. All the way here is my land up until this point. So all of this are overgrown trees that I need to trim and hedge and completely get rid of. And then here, which I'll show you guys, is where I envision to the left of me my little Martha Stewart era to be. So right here to the left of me is one of the outer buildings that is going to be I think it's going to be the future garage to park one car. And then here is the big plot of land. There is a sign that I made. I actually glued it with nail glue. Just because cars would just come here and park randomly. Get in there. Oh man. Completely bent too. It's not really standing, whatever. And all of this is awful. I hate this stuff so much. It is the worst. It's like if you touch it, it makes you itch all over. And someone from the city, when he came, he was hired by the city, I convinced him to do this, and so it's really easy. He has like a machine. I just need to call him and see how much it would cost for him to do it. And then I think what I'm going to put is like plastic on the floor. It's called like a bash, something just to make sure that it doesn't grow, like, because the grass just keeps growing and growing, and I can't maintain it myself, guys. Like, it's so much work, and I'm just not home enough to be able to do it. But this is essentially where I envision it to be. And the thing is also, like every other plot of land, so I have my courtyard and have my backyard, it's not even. It's not completely flat. So even here, I need to flatten it out because it goes up. And I don't know if you can tell, but every year, even this year I've done it, and it's already grown back, I trim the trees here. Because there's actually 3 walls that are stone supporting walls, and I find them so beautiful. And I plan on doing lights to backlit them, as well as doing like lavender, and then here to creating a fence and having a vegetable garden here. And I'm not really sure. So here is a garage, and then here is a part of the middle building as well, and it leads to this area here, and there's already an opening for the upstairs and the downstairs. That's because it was a functioning farmhouse. So I'm actually thinking that I'll have something so I can go in and out and not have to go through the front gate, and just be able to have access here for the garden, which would be really, really nice. But there's just a lot to be done, and actually there's trees that line all of here, even behind my property, which is mine as well. And unfortunately, I have to remove all those trees because they were interfering with my roof. So before I even redo all of the outer buildings roof, I have to make sure that I do the landscaping when it comes to this. And there's actually a little bit of drama in the countryside with this. So here is public, and as you can see, my property goes all the way to that point. And behind it is a driveway for my neighbors who live up above over there, nestled in. You can't really see because all this greenery covers them. I think it was last year, before I started the renovation, when I was not here, I was in the city, they had emailed me saying that they put up a fence and a sign saying to the city to not trim the hedges. I was flabbergasted, guys. I literally was shook to my core The thing about me is I might be small, I might be petite, I might be blonde, but I'm not dumb. And I'm a very strong-willed woman, and I will not, even in another foreign country where the language is not my native, I will hold my own. So I came home. I was literally shook because they didn't even ask me permission. They just said that they did that. And not only that, I need the help. I need the help from the city to trim these trees because it does touch electrical. And one day, if keep refusing for the city to trim the hedges and they damage the electrical, who do you think is going to be responsible? Do you think it's my neighbors? No, it's going to be poor little old Christina. So I removed the fence, I tossed it in their thing, and then I replied to their email saying to not do this again and that this is my property. They also had stated in the email that they had planted stuff, and the year before they were very upset because the city had cut down their stuff that they planted. I said, sorry, this is my property. You should not be planting anything without my permission. So that was a little bit of an ordeal. He actually spoke to me because my builder, he also does, he's like a carpenter, I guess you would say. And he works on roofing and stuff like that. And he needed to see what we were working with, you know? I'm going to put this, I think he's a carpenter. We're going to put him to work. And the husband saw me and him. We had to go on my neighbor's property, even though it's public, because all the roads are public. So even their driveway, they do not own. It is public. So we had to go on that public road, but still, it's like, you know, his property to show everything because everything is overgrown. And so he was able to see it. So then a few weeks passed, and because, you know, I'm never really here, my neighbor saw me, I guess, in town riding my bike, doing some errands before I had gone back to the south this last trip, and asked me if it was okay if I, when I do eventually cut the hedges, or if I had any plans to cut the hedges or whatever, if I could leave all of this. And I said, well, I appreciate you coming to speak to me. I said, I don't have any official plans in the works. However, like I stated in my email last year, there will be a time that comes. The day will come where essentially all this is going to be gone. It's not my style. I love natural because they love overgrown, untamed wild. I like things to feel organic and natural, but also well manicured and stylized. And I have a whole vision for this space. I want there to be like solar lights to line the driveway to bring me to the home, even along the stone wall, which I'll show you guys. And even here, like I mentioned, the 3-layer stone supporting wall, I want it to be backlit as well with lavender and the whole garden here. Like, I truly see a whole vision for this space. So I told them to enjoy it while it lasts, essentially. Here actually is private property that my neighbor who lives across from me, it's a couple, an elderly couple. They sold this land and it's non-constructible. And so, which is actually really hard to find in France. And it's very lucky because imagine if this was constructible, you could build a home on it. People today would probably pack, and I'm not exaggerating, like 10 homes here. And it would just completely kill the property value and the calmness of this place. However, I will say, I knew this when buying this property. There was other properties that me and my ex-partner, because I did buy this with my ex-partner, we had looked at, and those other properties, a lot of times, because it was during COVID, a lot of the properties that we were looking at, they had sold their side yard, their backyard, their front yard. And so you had this old charming house, But because the laws changed right before or during COVID, that you didn't need as much land to build a property. Before, the minimum was 1,000 meters squared, and that had completely gone away. I think the minimum now is like 300 meters squared, which is not a lot. So there was properties that we would see, and we would see that other plots of lands were for sale or empty, or there was a possibility, and it was like, it's so risky. Even if today, for example, this property, this was for sale, even though currently, when we bought it, this was not for sale. If this was possible to be buildable, to build homes on it, imagine we would have bought this. I would have bought this property, they would have sold it, and then all these homes would have been here. And this is what happens. This is the reality of like buying a home, but this is why you always have to do your research and understand. And we knew when buying this property that here was not possible to be it's not constructible. And we even verified with the property owners. So I feel really grateful for that it's extremely rare, but that I know for certain that this area of exactly where I'm at cannot change at all. It can only go up, which is crucial. So my neighbor so kindly mowed this grass for me because they know that I'm like living my best life in summer. They know that I'm single and I'm by myself. And he recently mowed this grass, I can tell. He's so sweet. I am really, even though there was that small little hiccup with my neighbors that live above me, as I mentioned, they are still kind people. I no longer can have a close, we never were close, but I now have more distance with them, but they are still kind people. And everyone else that's around me is just so kind. And even in this, even in the town that's connected to mine, people will see me walking to the train station. Even with a suitcase, they pick me up and drop me off. It happens more times than you would even realize. Truly the nicest people. But this whole stone wall wraps around my entire property just till after my backyard. And then it's my first neighbor who only has a front small little yard. Not even a yard. He doesn't have any greenery, but just a front porch. And then he doesn't have any backyard because it's my next neighbors, where in my backyard we share an adjoining wall. So this stone, as you can see here, it needs to look pretty. It does not look pretty. I plan on making this look pretty one day, and I would love to put rose beds all along here. I just think that'd be so beautiful. And then you can see that is my bedroom window. It's currently open. The window is currently open. And then here is my backyard. And that stone wall I would redo just to make it look more like this. As you can see, this looks like it's newly done. But then if you look over there, it looks more worn down. So I would definitely want to redo it just to make it look nice. And have beautiful flower beds or something all along here and make it look really, really beautiful. But again, it takes time, takes money, takes energy. I need to find a gardener. And I have not put any effort into the courtyard or any of the garden or anything like that, just because I've just been kind of maintaining it at the minimum expense, because I know I'm going to renovate it eventually and I want to do it, and I don't want to put money into something that's temporary. So behind me is a kind of dead olive tree, unfortunately. When I went away to Marbella the end of June, there was a heat wave and my olive tree died a little bit. I think some of them are okay. It'll come back to life though, for the most part. I just need to remove the dead and I need to keep watering it as well. But you're wondering, why do you have an olive tree? I love olive trees, but I also, the plan that I have for the courtyard, because it is south facing, because it does get a lot of natural light and sunlight all the time, I plan on making it a little bit more Mediterranean style. I plan on removing all the grass and adding obviously a lot of plants. This is where I imagine the water fountain to be, is right here. This already exists. We'll just have to clean it up. I think I'm gonna raise it a little bit as well. I already have more stones because two of the openings that I did to my house were stone walls, and I specifically said I need to keep the stone. So we have a lot of stone to work with, which is amazing. And at first, the first thing that I wanted for this, I knew I wanted a fountain. At first, though, I wanted it to be in the center of the courtyard. However, after being here for several years and seeing cars come and go, I realized it would be very risky and very tight to put it centrally to the courtyard. And this was already here, so I'm like, this is perfect. It's rounded, and I could just totally imagine it being here. And then maybe we can put some kind of, I don't know, statue head or something. I don't really know. But this is where I imagine to be the fountain. And if I'm being honest, I think the fountain would probably be done before any other alterations or renovations, any renovations are done for the courtyard, because it's so easy. It's already pretty much there. The only thing is also here, the stone, as you can see, it looks a little bit more muddy. So it's not as pretty as the house itself, but I'm not planning on refinishing that as of yet. So as you can see here, we have Carrot's litter box. We have his litter box here. This is where he can go and eat. He goes to the bathroom, obviously, wherever, but he knows his litter box. When I had the water for when I was on vacation. And here currently it's dirt. You can see here behind me, here are all the rocks that I mentioned. And then here I'm not really sure what I want to do with this space, but I definitely want it to be not dirt, not gravel. I want it to be a continuation of the patio in front of the house. And since it's so close to the kitchen, it'd be great if it could be kind of like maybe like another dining area as well that's covered. So it could be really nice if it's like an evening, but maybe it's not, maybe it's raining or something like that, but you still want to be outside. So there's that. And then upstairs, I won't share with you guys right now. That is where I stock a lot of stuff, and that is the future game room. There's also another cave that's right here. And inside here is where I imagine the future pool and spa area that connects to the garden. Okay, so the last thing that I'll show you guys is, as I mentioned earlier, here's the kitchen, and here connected to on the other side of the kitchen is this space. I think it's about 35 meters squared, so 350 square feet. And currently, I'm stocking all my gardening supplies. However, I do have plans for this as well. When I do the backyard, I plan on, again, evening out, because it's on a slope, evening out, and then also digging to give a pathway and opening up the inside of here to be able to create access from the backyard into the courtyard. That would also require a lot because everything is stone, so it would require a lot, but I definitely see that being a thing. And I see another bathroom being down here as well as a workout room. I love working out. And it's like currently the workout room that I have is upstairs in the future kids room. I don't know if I'm ever gonna have kids. That's just how I planned the layout, to have two twin beds there. So, but in the future, I just feel like have a really big workout area here and having a toilet as well. But I know that will cost a lot just because of plumbing. But if you can imagine it, it's possible. You just have to find the right people and have enough vision. You have to have enough vision and drive and perseverance, and literally anything is possible.